Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live session today that we're going to do. My name is Pratik Deshmukh, and I'm the pastry chef at Trident Nariman Point and The Oberoi, Mumbai. So, the first recipe that we're going to do, chocolate amalaka, has 4 ingredients, and we'll start with that. So, in case you're still getting your ingredients ready, I'll just go through the recipe again with you. We have 4 ingredients, as I said. We have cream, which is a 35% cream. We have milk. We have South Home chocolate, which is a single origin chocolate, and it's a 70% cocoa concentration chocolate. And we have some gelatin. The gelatin is gold leaf, the gold concentration of gelatin, and I've used 5 grams of this. So the recipe that is there on the Academy page, the quantities are a little more or less, but that's okay. I've taken a certain amount of quantity so that I can show you what we're making in a certain amount of way. Also, it will be easier for you to see with this quantity. If I would have taken the quantity which is there on mentioned, it would have been too less, so that it's a little difficult, and we don't want any questions or some confusion. So I've just increased the quantity a little bit. We'll go through the quantity once. So we have cream, 35% fat. In case if anyone wants to note down the quantities, so we have 400 grams of cream, which is 35% fat. I have taken Amul cream as the brand. It's the most easily available. 200 ml of milk, so that it's 6% fat. You can use 3.5 also, but since we're making everything, since we have already cream which is 35% fat, it doesn't really make so much of a difference if you take more or less. So we have 6% fat, and I've taken 200 ml of milk. Then the South Home chocolate, which is 70% single origin chocolate. I'm using South Home from Calabo chocolate. This is 250 grams, and gold gelatin 5 grams, which is soaked. There are few recipes which call for water also, in which the gelatin has to be soaked. This particular recipe, I've tried to keep the recipes as easy as possible, so that the people who are at home also in this lockdown, if you have the ingredients available, you can still try and make it. Okay. So let's start with the first recipe.
Chef, somebody's asked a question. Can you repeat gelatin? How many grams?
Sorry, so the gelatin is 5 grams, 5 grams of gold gelatin, and you just need to soak it in ice cold water. Please make sure that there is enough ice, because if you soak it for a long time and then you leave it outside and the water starts coming back to room temperature, your gelatin is going to reduce its gelling properties. In case if I'm not audible, please let me know. My team will let me know, and I will increase my volume accordingly. So we're transferring the chocolate in a mixing bowl and transferring the milk in a saucepan. So what we have to do over here is we need to boil the milk, but we don't need to take it to a really high temperature. The idea is the milk should just be enough so that the chocolate melts. Don't take the milk to a really high temperature, like 90 degrees, because that's too much for two reasons. Because we're going to add the gelatin directly into the milk, and then we're going to add the milk into the chocolate. If we put such high temperature milk inside the chocolate, what's going to happen is that there is a chance of the temperature being too much for the chocolate. Chocolate starts melting at about 40-45 degrees Celsius, and you need to take it to 50 degrees till the chocolate melts properly when you're tempering. So we need to take it a little higher, because we are going to add really cold gelatin inside, and then we're going to add the gelatin inside over here.
Couple of questions. Somebody has asked, gelatin powder also 5 grams, is it the same?
Okay, so the thing with gelatin powder is that the only problem with gelatin powder that we have in India is it's not really uniform. So my suggestion, if you're doing it at home, just to be on the safer side, just increase the gelatin powder by about 2 grams. So if we have 5 grams of gelatin leaf over here, it's best if you take 7 grams of gelatin. It won't really make so much of a difference. Your namalaka will be okay. Don't worry.
Instead of gelatin, can we use agar-agar? And if yes, then what will be the quantity?
You can use agar. The only thing that you will have to do is you will have to try a couple of recipes before you get the perfect balance for it. Usually the gelling power of agar is a little less, depends on what type of agar you take. In case if you don't get agar and you want to keep it completely vegetarian and you would like to add a pectin, I don't think it will work in this recipe, because with every ingredient that you change, you will have to do a few trial and errors. But if you're taking agar, then you might have to take about 7 to 8 grams approximately. That's what's coming to my mind right now. But of course, I'll have to work it out and then give you the exact quantity. When you're using the gelatin, just make sure that you remove all the water that is there, because the water that is coming out from the gelatin sheets is not in the recipe. So if you just remove the gelatin and add it inside the milk, it's just some extra liquid that you're adding inside. We don't need that. Okay. So in goes the gelatin. Just let it stay for a couple of seconds. Give it a quick stir. Add the milk in one go on top of the chocolate. Another really small trick that actually makes a difference is once you pour the milk on top of the chocolate, let it stand for a few seconds, because what a lot of people do is they add the milk and immediately start stirring. So what happens is that the heat that is going inside the chocolate till the bottom of the bowl is just going to go away, because you're increasing the surface area of the milk. And if you don't heat the milk too much, which is what we have to do, if you just heat the milk up to about 65 degrees, 70 degrees is also good enough, and then you immediately start stirring, you're going to have too much of heat that is going away, because you're continuously stirring it. Once you add the milk, just be patient, let it stand for a couple of for a minute or so, and then you start stirring. gradually just start stirring. In case you want to keep it, in case you want to keep this chocolate namalaka dairy free and you don't wish to use milk, you can substitute the same quantity of milk for either almond milk or soy milk. The only thing that you will have to do with the cream is that, which we have taken dairy cream, is that you will have to substitute it for a non-dairy cream. The Rich has its non-dairy cream, which is available, cooking cream, which is synthetic. It's soy based. You can use that in case you want to keep your recipe dairy free. A lot of times on the packets of Callebaut, it's written may contain traces of milk solids. So it depends if the guest that you're making for is highly allergic. If yes, then you might have to procure some special chocolate.
Shall we have a question from Shraddha Kankaria? Can we use Callebaut 811?
Yes, you can use Callebaut 811 as well. The only thing that you will have to do is you will have to increase the quantity of chocolate inside, because over here we are using South Home chocolate, which is 70% cocoa. The regular 811 has about 53.5%. So since the cocoa is less, the cocoa mass is less, you will have to increase the quantity a little bit so that you get the similar finished product. I can share the recipe with you for 811 later on.
Arman Kaur is asking, the chocolate is cold or at room temperature?
The chocolate is at room temperature. You don't want the chocolate cold. Again, for room temperature, a lot of people, it means different things. Most of the times when we pastry chefs say room temperature, we're talking about 18 degrees Celsius approximately. I mean, for Indian standards, it's still cold, but the chocolate can be kept inside an air-conditioned room and you can use it immediately. All right. So our chocolate and milk is mixed. It needs to be an emulsion. Right now, it's still not a perfect emulsion. We still have some specks of chocolate, but that's going to melt away once we blend it. If I feel the bowl, I can still feel a little bit of heat from the milk. It's not really hot. Right now the temperature of the bowl will be approximately 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. Once this is done, then what we need to do is we need to add the cream inside. The only thing you need to remember with the cream is that the cream needs to be cold. I will give you the reason for it. Also, I will tell you why I did not add the cream with the milk.
Chef Arora Mahi asks, even if we add gelatin powder, would we be able to mix in the milk the same way?
If you add gelatin powder, what you need to do is okay, so that's actually a very good question. If you use gelatin powder, what you need to do is you need to soak the gelatin powder in 5 times the quantity of water. So if you're taking 7 grams of gelatin, then you need to take 5 times that amount of water, which is 35 grams. Yes, 35 grams. My maths is really bad. 35 grams. Let it stand for some time till the entire gelatin absorbs the water. In technical terms, that is called as the blooming of the gelatin. So once the gelatin powder with the water has bloomed, then you need to just melt it on a double boiler. You can just keep it on top of really hot water. Gradually it will melt. Or if you can keep it in a microwave safe bowl and just give short bursts of 10 seconds, this gelatin and the water will dissolve completely. This gelatin will be hot and you can add that directly into the hot milk. So that's the only thing that you need to do with gelatin powder, in case you are using gelatin powder.
Chef, a couple of times we've been asked, can compound chocolate be used?
Okay, so if you ask me, I personally dislike compound chocolate totally. It's just something that I've been taught since I started working, that compound chocolate is not really chocolate, because compound chocolate has hydrogenated vegetable oil inside. But yes, in case of non-availability, or if you have cost constraints, then you can go for compound chocolate. What you will have to do with compound chocolate is that if you're using regular dark compound chocolate, you can use the same recipe. You don't need to increase the quantity of chocolate, which you will have to do in case of Caliboo 811.
Chef, can we just once again tell everybody what we are making? I think some people have joined in late.
Okay, so for the people who've joined us late, welcome back. My name is Pratik and I'm live with the Academy of Pastry Arts, and we're making a chocolate namalaka. That's the first recipe. We've completed a few steps, nothing really complicated. What we've done is, first we've just warmed the cream, added the gelatin inside the milk. We warmed the milk, added the gelatin inside the milk, poured it over the chocolate, stirred it, given a nice stir, and after that we've added cold cream, 35% fat, and we're just stirring it now. Okay, the reason why we have taken hot milk and cold cream, milk has all dairy products have certain amount of properties, and we don't want to change the way these properties are, because that's what makes them special. So if a milk has 6% fat, that means when you have a sip of milk, you're going to get that taste of the fat from the milk. The moment you warm the cream, you are changing the structure of the cream. If you notice, the cream will automatically become really liquid, and it will start becoming really thin. We don't want that, because we want the richness of the cream and the richness of the chocolate that we are using. So that's why ideally you should always use cold cream, and you can warm the milk, because if you warm the milk, it won't make so much of a difference, and it's always better to warm the milk rather than warming the cream. So cold cream inside, and then you start stirring. The action that you are doing is a cut and fold action, but there is nothing really to fold inside over here. So just gradually. Another very short tip for everyone who's just starting off or working at home: make sure that you work in only one part of the bowl. Don't dirty the entire bowl, because then it becomes really difficult for you. You don't want to be working in a mess. So I'm just working in the quadrant that is the nearest to my body. Start folding it. And if you see, it's got this really nice consistency. This consistency wouldn't have been the same if we would have boiled the cream, for sure. So that's why we don't want to boil the cream. The next step, after adding the cream, is that we're going to transfer this. Either you can, if you have a decent amount of quantity, you can blend it here itself. If not, you can you can take a jar like this, you can transfer the entire mixture over here, and you can blend it. It's always best to blend in something like this, because what happens is that the amount of air that goes in is limited at that point of time. So the next step is just blending. So we're not going to blend this right now. What you need to do is blend. What helps in blending is that it gives you a perfect emulsion. Right now, if you see, you really won't be able to see for for a regular person who's working, this will look like a good emulsion, but it won't be a perfect emulsion. So you just need to use a blender. I have this blender. It's a really good heavy duty blender. If you're using the blenders that we use regularly at home, just don't keep blending it for a really long time. The motor heats and the motor will burn. So this one, even if I use it for quite some time, it won't make a difference. So that's just something for you to remember if you're working at home. So the next step is just going to blend this, and we're going to pour it in our molds. So I have these molds ready. These are silicone molds, and you can get any shape, size that you fancy, and you can fill it in these molds. And after this is done, I'm going to keep this in my deep freezer. Right? Ideally, it needs to set overnight for you to demold it and get a really nice shape. Something that I forgot to mention in the beginning: the name of the dessert, where it comes from. So namelaka is actually a Japanese term which means really creamy or ultra creamy. So the way that this product is made is that it's a cross between a ganache, which is a mixture of chocolate and cream, and it's somewhere in between a ganache and a pastry cream. So if you see a pastry cream, it's light, and if you see a ganache, it's really rich. So it's just in between there, and it's got a really nice creamy taste when you bite into it. There are two ways in which you can use a namelaka. Once you blend this, you can keep it in the bowl itself. You can cover it with a cling wrap, and you can store it inside the fridge. So once it goes inside the fridge, the refrigerator, at about 4 degrees also, what happens is that the chocolate will start setting, and overnight, the next day when you remove it, it will be set, but it will still be a little soft. Then you can transfer it into your in a whisk, or if you have a KitchenAid bowl at home and you have a whisk attachment, you can whip it and then use it. But the way I am going to use it is I'm going to fill it inside the mold directly, keep it inside the deep freezer, and then use it for my plating later on. So this is just a really simple step which we're not going to do right now. We're going to move on to the next recipe so that we have enough time for plating as well. Alright, so the next recipe that we have is a bourbon crema. A crema is basically any type of cream. You can have multiple flavored creams, and the word crema is again a very generic term. It just indicates the presence of cream and something that is light and can be either can be set inside a mold or can be piped. So that's what a crema is, because you will see a lot of people using this word crema interchangeably. So don't get confused. It's basically a generic word which indicates the presence of cream inside. So the recipe that we have over here is we are using the same cream, which is 35% fat, and I have 373 grams of creams over here. Okay, 373. And I have 136 grams of chocolate, so about a little less than 1:3 ratio of chocolate and cream. Over here I have used regular dark chocolate Calbo 811 because I have already used a certain amount of single origin chocolate, which is my main component of the dessert. I don't want to take away from that flavor. The crema is just to give it a different taste of chocolate itself, but you know, my dessert can't be so heavy that it just has so much amount of 70% chocolate. So just to make it a little light but to incorporate another chocolate flavor, I have some dark chocolate and cream and bourbon whiskey.
Chef, a couple of questions. Gandhi.Ranu is asking, is Amul fresh cream?
Yes, this is Amul fresh cream again. If you can get a better quality of cream, nothing like it, but Amul cream just works fine. It's really good. It's an Indian brand.
Ekta is asking, which brand blender are you using, Chef?
So I have a blender by the brand of RoboCoop. So RoboCoop is the company, and this is a Blitzer blender from that company. This is actually an industrial blender. It's a heavy duty blender, not the ones that we get at home. You know the ones that we get at home. I think it's this Braun Philips. These are mostly for home use because they're not meant for such high intensity. But this one is an industrial one, so that we can blend it in a larger quantity. Also, we can blend it for a longer time. If you can manage to get one of this, it's nothing like it. There is another brand called Dynamics of blenders, which is also really good. Hopefully, I'll get that soon. Okay, so moving on to the next recipe, we have cream, which I'm heating. So now again, questions might pop up. 5 minutes ago you told us that don't warm the cream, it changes the properties. Agreed, but over here I am looking for a different texture than that of the Namalaka, so that's why I am warming the cream over here. I'm going to put my chocolate directly inside the jar. Get my cream hot, approximately 60%, 60 degrees. So if you notice inside the pan, the cream has started becoming slightly liquid. That's okay for this particular type of recipe that you're making. Okay, so the cream is pretty hot. Don't boil the cream, because if you boil the cream, that's just taking it to another level. Hot cream over the chocolate directly. Again, what a small mistake that a lot of people tend to do is they don't remove the entire cream from the pan. For the chefs who are watching, they will say that our chef keeps telling us and keeps shouting at us for the cost, don't waste, don't waste. But more than the cost, more importantly is that whatever was in the pan was in the recipe, and whatever was in the recipe needs to go inside my bowl. So don't leave a lot of cream behind. Okay, little tip for the people who are starting off. same logic, allow it to stand for a few seconds. I'm just going to give it a little mix.
Chef, while we are waiting, somebody is asking what is the main role of gelatin?
The main role of gelatin in the namalaka is that the amount of cream that's there inside is so high that if you just try to remove it, it's not going to give you that kind of texture. If you're making a chocolate mousse even at home, you don't really need to add gelatin inside, because you're folding in cream, you're adding cream in two parts. First you're making a basic truffle with cream and chocolate, and then you're folding in cream inside, then you're putting it inside a mold, and then you're freezing it. The amount of cocoa that is there, the cocoa mass that is there inside the chocolate, is enough for the mousse to set without gelatin, unless you are using a really high quantity of cream. So over here, this particular recipe, the gelatin is just so that it gives you that perfect creamy texture in between a ganache and a pastry cream. That's just it. So if you see, for the amount of chocolate that we had, 400 grams of chocolate, is just 5 grams of gelatin. Okay.
Can we use simple chocolates like Cadbury?
I mean, yes, if you really don't have anything and you desperately want to make a dessert, yes, you can use Cadbury. But the main difference between using a Cadbury and another chocolate is that a Cadbury chocolate is what we call a table chocolate, and the other chocolate that we are using, that I am using over here, is called a couverture chocolate, which is cooking chocolate. So if you try to heat Cadbury and just a little bit here and there, your chocolate is going to start getting these small grains and is going to start seizing. That's what we call seizing, and we don't want that. So that's why we'd rather use a couverture chocolate. So if you ask me, the best one to use is a couverture chocolate. If you don't have, you use a compound chocolate. If you still don't have that, then it's okay, you can use Cadbury. Okay, all right. So cream over chocolate, in goes the blender. You won't be able to hear me saying anything. So once you've reached this consistency, another small tip for all of you all to remember is that don't remove the blender too much, because the more you remove the blender, the more air you're incorporating. We don't want air to be incorporated. This is not a mousse that we're making. We're making a crema that's going to be piped. We want it nice and dense. So once your chocolate and cream is mixed nicely, you add inside your bourbon whiskey. The reason why I added it later on is because once I blend it in the beginning, some amount of heat is dissipated, and then I can blend it inside. If I would have added it really in the beginning, then the heat would have taken away the alcohol content, which is what I don't want. Okay? Okay, and once this is done, it gives you this consistency. It's got a really nice shine, and we're done. So it's really nice, light. Oh, I can smell the whiskey as well. Yes, it's quite nice. Just stir it, let the extra air bubbles go away, transfer it in a bowl and reserve it in the fridge overnight. And the next day, just remove it. It will be nice and firm. It's going to become really nice and firm. The next day you put it inside an attachment and just whip it up to the consistency that you want to finish it. So we're done with this recipe and now we're going to start plating. If you have any questions, you can just start writing the questions till the time I get my my next task ready. Alright, and MasterChef Australia feels. So I already had prepped for the class yesterday, like a good teacher, and I made one batch yesterday and I had kept it inside the freezer. Removed it some time ago and I've just put this on a plate. So this is how it's going to look. It's still defrosting a little bit, so you see the ice over here, but you can start plating it in advance. The only thing that you need to take care while making this namalaka is that it defrosts really fast, so you need to be quick. So we filled it inside the red mold. I have another mold, so we filled it inside this mold. This mold goes into the deep freezer, not the refrigerator, deep freezer. If you're working in a hotel, then -18. If you have a home deep freezer, then at least -8, -10 degrees Celsius, so that it demolds really nicely. And then I have my other components ready for plating. But this is our star of the dish, so you need to give it good amount of importance. And let's start plating. So my bourbon cremo is inside this piping bag, and namalaka is here, and we're all set to go. So if you want to see how the whipped bourbon cremo looks like this. Okay, all right, so let's start plating. Don't overdo it. Although this looks similar, that's what the surprise in this dish is, that you think that it's the same thing, but the moment you eat it, you get a rich chocolate, intense flavor of chocolate from the namalaka, and then when you eat a spoon of the crema, you get this really nice creamy mouthfeel with a good hit of bourbon at the bottom. Then I have a chocolate soil which I have made. So again, this is a very simple recipe. So for everyone who's watching the video, the other components that I have used and not shared the recipes yet, if you have questions, if you would like to know how this particular component was made, please DM me on Instagram. I would be more than happy to share this recipe with you. Alright, so this chocolate soil is basically crystallized chocolate with a little bit of toasted almond flakes. It's got this really nice deep dark color, which is going to again be chocolate, but it's still going to break the contrast of the browns on the plate. Okay, so then I have these sable discs, which are again made of cocoa sable. It's basic sable paste with cocoa powder. It's sheeted really thin. If you see the thickness, it's pretty thin. And then it's baked in between two silpats at about 180 degrees Celsius for about 14 minutes. So you get it really nice and crisp. We're going to start placing this. So again, your crema needs to have a certain amount of strength with which it can hold the disc of the sable. The next thing that's going inside, that's going on the plate, is this. It's a hazelnut flavored microwave sponge, but just to give it a fancy word, we call it a coral sponge because it looks like a coral that you find underneath the ocean. So it's got these really nice open pores, and it's made in a microwave. Doesn't take really long. The only thing that you need is a siphon for this. So this goes here, and one piece with maximum pores of the visibility goes here. So we have enough chocolate going on. What we're going to do is just to add some amount of freshness to the dish, because you need a certain amount of acidity to cut down all the richness, because if you're a guest, you really won't be able to eat so much of chocolate, and you want something to break that constant flavor. So I've got some really nice local cherries over here. I have hazelnuts, which is going to give it a really nice nutty flavor. So these cherries are fresh. So 2 cherries to break it down. Alternatively, you can use some plum as well. Plum and chocolate really goes well. I'm going to keep it limited to cherries. I just had that as an option. Then we have some toasted hazelnuts, which I've cut into 2. Hazelnuts need to go where they can be seen. Okay, so that's our hazelnut. The second last element that's going is raspberry. It's a raspberry fluid gel. So it's basically it's a cross between a jam and a jelly. So it's a little more fluid. My plate is slightly tilted, so it's going to give you that angle. So that's why wherever there is maximum surface area, I have my raspberry. Second last, just to give a certain amount of freshness, I have some really nice fresh mint leaf. The mint, I have kept it in ice cold water so that it doesn't wilt. Now you need to see where to place the mint. So I have one over here. And last but not the least, and the best, I really like it. So you have some gold leaf. It's carefully going to go and sit on the side over here. That is my very sweet and lovely team. So this is how the dessert is going to look, the final dessert. So you've got really different textures. Something that I forgot to mention, why I have used so many components, because you don't want something that's only creamy. You want something to break the balance of flavors, you want something to break the textures, and you want to get a really nice sensation inside in your mouth once you eat it. So you have a creamy amalaka that has intense cocoa flavor. You have the surprise bourbon whiskey crema, which once you eat it, although it looks the same color, you're going to get a burst of whiskey. You have hazelnuts for the crunch. You have a little bit of cake flavor which is coming from the microwave sponge. You have these really nice crisp biscuits which are the sable. You have the cherry and the raspberry fluid gel to break the sweetness and the intensity of the chocolate. So the acidity comes from the cherries and the raspberry jam, and another complete different flavor from the soil that is over here. So that is the logic behind putting so many components on one plate itself. And also, if you notice, the size of the plate and the amount of dessert that's plated on top of it is in a certain amount of proportion. So this is about 40% of the plate, but 60% of the plate is empty. In plating techniques, we call this negative space, which gives you the feeling that you're eating, that you're not eating a lot and you're eating a certain amount of portion size. If I would have plated this dessert on a regular plate and filled the entire plate with the same quantity, you would have still got that feeling inside your mind that oh my god, there's so much of dessert that I'm eating, and I don't want, I'm on a diet, I can't eat so much. So this concept of negative space comes in from there. You can do your combinations, you can change a few things. If you don't want to add the bourbon inside your crema, if you don't consume alcohol, that's totally fine. You can change the hazelnuts to pecan nuts to almonds. I wouldn't go with cashew nuts because that won't really go well. Walnuts, yes, definitely goes along with chocolate. So if you see all these individual combinations also, all of them have to either be complementary or they have to be completely in contrast. So you don't have something that's confusing your mind, because while you're eating, it's just not your tongue. It's got to do a lot with your mind also. So it needs to be inviting, it needs to be colorful. If I would have just left it with the cherries, it would have still looked nice, but the mint just gives it a different appearance by itself. If you have some edible flowers, if you see a similar dessert that I have made on my Instagram post, it has some really beautiful edible flowers, but unfortunately what we're dealing with right now, we don't really have a lot of supply of those. Otherwise I would have used that and I would have recreated the same dessert. But you know, in these trying times we must change and we must adapt and we must still do something that is brilliant. So that's chocolate namalaka with bourbon crema for you. If you have any questions, please start typing the questions, and while you're writing the questions, I just have a few things that I had in mind before starting the live. So if you see this dessert, you know, it's really nice, it's Instagrammable, it's very catchy, but if I had to make 10 of these, I would have still been able to make 10 of these. If I had to make 100 of these, I would have still been able to make 100 of these. So just an advice to people who are young, who are starting off, don't make things for Instagram. Make things that really taste nice, that have a lot of love inside, that have a lot of thought inside. Don't just make things to make them look pretty on Instagram, because when the people who see your desserts or whatever you make on Instagram and they come to eat at your restaurant, at your cafe, wherever, and what it looks and it doesn't match, then it just becomes a really big disappointment. So that's something that I wanted to share. Making Instagrammable things, very good, but they need to be as good as they taste. I wish whoever is watching could taste this and give me your reviews and feedback. But nevertheless, hopefully sometime soon, whenever it is possible for y'all, and you can visit us, we would definitely be more than happy to have this dessert ready waiting for you. So this dessert is waiting for you at either Trident Nariman Point or the Oberoi Mumbai, wherever you wish to come. You will definitely see me, and I'm waiting for your questions now.
A couple of times, chef, people have asked what is the alternative for the whiskey and the bourbon we've used.
So some things that really go well with chocolate, Old Monk, so cheat, goes really well with chocolate, tastes amazing, intense flavor, good quality, gives you great taste. Old Monk is one. You can use any other whiskey that is there. If you don't have whiskey, you can try using a liqueur, a strong liqueur like a Kahlua. Kahlua is coffee based, will go well with your dessert itself. But always remember, if you're changing some things and you're making it for the first time, please make a trial portion, because with every ingredient that you change, there will be some small things which will be different from the actual way that it comes out. So you need to remember that.
Can we use agar agar instead of gelatin?
Yes, you can use agar, but it will give you a different texture and the quantity will have to be worked upon.
Recipe?
I will share all the recipes again. Sorry, I don't have a printout of the recipe with me right now, but it's very simple. The namalaka has 4 ingredients: milk, chocolate, cream and gelatin, and the bourbon and whiskey crema has 3 simple ingredients: cream, chocolate and bourbon whiskey. That's all. The reason why I chose these 2 recipes was I wanted to keep it simple, so that whoever is at home and still wants to try it out can try it out.
What about cognac?
Yes, goes brilliantly. If you have cognac and you have the money, it will taste amazing. Why not?
And what if we cannot source Caribou?
If you can't source Caribou, Maude is available everywhere in abundance. I'm sure you can definitely get Maude from somewhere. If you'd like to reduce the cost implications of the dessert. But with changing the chocolate, please understand that you will be changing the texture, you will be changing the flavor. So it's totally fine for you to use Maude, but then please remember it won't taste that good.
Which cream do you use? 35% fat.
Yes, Amul cream works well. If you have Olympia, if you have Precedent, works well, works fine as well. Alright, if you have any more questions, please DM me. My handle is Pratik2306 on Instagram, and thank you so much for tuning in, for the love and support. Unfortunately or fortunately I couldn't read the comments, but never mind. This lovely dessert is waiting for you in our hotel. We hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.